tonight, more Minnesotans will soon have the option to get vaccinated as the newest dose arrives in the state. Plus, the FBI is warning of credible threats to the United States Capitol, what they're concerned about, and how it's affecting the work of lawmakers. But first, permit to carry applications are gaining popularity, while local law enforcement believes more people want to carry a firearm.
From CBS3 Duluth, this is the CBS3 News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Kristen Bakke. Thanks for joining us. Minnesota law enforcement issued more firearms permits in 2020 than any year before, and it's not even close. As we first reported earlier this week, nearly 97,000 permits to carry were issued in Minnesota last year. That compared to about 51,000 in 2019, an 88% year-to-year increase. Tonight, CBS3's John Cardinelli is diving into those numbers, learning why so many more people want to be armed and what goes into earning a permit to carry.
Chad Walsh has been teaching permit to carry courses in St. Louis County for the last 3 years.
For the permit to carry course at Dead On, it's about 2.5 hours, and then there's some shooting afterwards because you got to qualify.
Classes cover how to properly handle a firearm and how to legally protect yourself in your home or public place. This year, Walsh says more people came to take the course.
This last year, we had close to 3,100 students.
In order to be granted a permit, you must go through the county sheriff's office for approval. St. Louis County Sheriff Ross Lippman says this year more permit requests came across his desk.
We issued just under 4,400, which was a record year for us.
In 2019, St. Louis County issued 2,891 permits compared to the 4,376 issued in 2020.
What happened in 2020? Obviously, we had the riots down in the Twin Cities, a lot of unrest and violence in the country. I think clearly some people applied in 2020 for those reasons.
Lippman says he believes politics and free time during the pandemic also played a role in the uptick. Walsh agrees.
It is an uptick. Of course, people are a little unrest about what's going on in society. They're a little nervous, and we're in interesting times. We are. So people, they've come to that realization that they might have to defend themselves.
Walsh also says it's been a very diverse group of people taking his classes, with men and women of every race looking to get a permit to protect themselves.
They have come to the realization that, law enforcement is minutes away, and stuff happens in split seconds.
Permits are renewed every 5 years. Currently in St. Louis County, nearly 17,000 people hold a permit to carry. According to Sheriff Lippman, 20 people in the county had their permits taken away last year. Well, here's a live look at the U.S. Capitol tonight, where security is heightened amid new intelligence from the FBI warning of a potential domestic terror attack in the nation's capital. The threats include plans to take control of the Capitol building and remove Democratic lawmakers. Those threats prompted House Democrats to move up a vote on a policing reform bill named in honor of George Floyd to tonight. The House canceled votes for tomorrow following revelations of a new FBI and Department of Homeland Security bulletin. It warns of more, quote, violence with little or no warning. The threat is driven by a QAnon conspiracy theory that former President Trump will be inaugurated Thursday, March 4th.
We are working with our law enforcement partners as well as the National Guard to provide a robust security posture around the campus.
The alert comes as intelligence officials testified today on Capitol Hill, telling senators the January 6th Capitol breach could embolden others. Both Democrats and Republicans are calling the threats credible. Well, Dave's here for a first look at the weather back here at home. Cooled down a little bit tonight as I went to take a little walk outside.
Yeah, just a touch, because technically it is a cold front that's wobbling through our region, still attached, like a comet perhaps, to that low pressure system that threatened a few flurries last night. And its tail end is still threatening a few flurries here and there. You can see, especially in central Minnesota and now heading into central Wisconsin, there have been a few flurries, but really not much has even tried to touch the ground. So it's even less than a 20% chance anymore that'll happen tonight. And then sunshine comes back again tomorrow, because we're almost surrounded by big cells of high air pressure. And that means for Thursday then, even though we may be mostly cloudy tonight, that the day will clear towards clear to partly cloudy in the afternoon. And the Twin Ports temperature will be 32 degrees, 10 degrees cooler than today, but that's still warmer than normal. And once we get into the second half of the weekend, it'll really be warmer than normal. I'll show you how warm that's going to be coming up in just a couple more minutes.
Thanks, Dave. The governor says Minnesotans have every reason to be optimistic as the state celebrates receiving its first doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Governor Tim Walz met one of the first shipments to arrive at a vaccine clinic today. The state is expecting 45,000 doses of the J&J vaccine this week. Walz says along with J&J, Pfizer and Moderna are also planning to accelerate production. By the end of the month, he's hoping the state will be receiving 200,000 doses a week. Walz is asking all Minnesotans to keep doing their part to slow the spread until everyone is protected.
COVID has taken a toll on all of us, but the days are here that this thing's done. And I'm just going to encourage Minnesotans. We did the goal line stand. We took the ball. Now we just bury this thing. We get this thing done.
Walz says more doses means the state can accelerate its vaccination timeline and open appointments to more people. He says they're also starting to think about next steps for reopening, but they don't want to move too fast and allow variants to spread. Well, it was an exciting day for people looking for a vaccine in Minnesota. Hospitals and clinics across the state received their first shipments of that Johnson & Johnson vaccine. As CBS3's Natalie Grant shares, this third option will make vaccines available to more people more quickly.
There's every reason for us to be very, very optimistic.
The third weapon against coronavirus has now arrived in the Northland. St. Luke's received 100 doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine Wednesday, bringing with it a sense of hope.
We're thrilled to receive it. This is a regional collaboration to get shots in arms for Minnesotans. And, you know, the priorities are 65 and older and some other subcategories of that. So the faster that we can distribute that and get those vaccinations completed, the faster that we can go on to other populations.
Governor Walz says that this third option will speed up vaccinations, something officials at St. Luke's say that they are ready to do.
Right now we're running at a rate of around 450 a day, and we can handle 600 a day easily 7 days a week. And so if product is available, we're prepared to serve the community in larger capacity that way.
Governor Walz says hospitals can expect to start seeing more doses as J&J, Pfizer, and Moderna step up production. Now, Walz says it's imperative everyone get the shot when it's their turn.
We're going to get to a point where we're going to have plenty of vaccines. We need folks to get in and take it because we get to that 70 to 90% range. We get the herd immunity that we need that protects not only ourselves but our neighbors.
Protecting our community as we take one step closer to normalcy.
We're eager to move on, really. I mean, the faster that we can go about this makes everyone safer.
St. Luke's will be administering the Johnson & Johnson vaccine Saturday. As for Essentia, we're told they have received 2,200 doses of the J&J vaccine. Hospital leaders plan to distribute those across their Minnesota locations. Well, as many Americans wait for a vaccine, some are also waiting for a stimulus check. President Biden addressed that today as the Senate is set to take up his $1.9 trillion COVID relief bill. Ahead of legislation moving to the floor, CBS News has confirmed that President Biden struck a deal with moderate Democrats to make the $1,400 direct payments more targeted. They will now end at $80,000 for single filers and $160,000 for joint filers. Biden believes that this bill is not only good policy, but also good politics.
Each piece isn't just defensible, it is urgent and overwhelmingly supported by the people. It's good policy and it's good politics.
The White House press secretary announced that starting next week, the federal retail pharmacy program will prioritize getting educators, school employees, and child care workers at least one dose of the COVID vaccine by the end of this month. The U.S. Paycheck Protection Program, also called PPP, offered financial aid to hospitality businesses hurt by the pandemic. But what was meant to be a lifeline for small companies could now lead to more problems. Jason Vincent owns the Boat Club in Duluth and 2 other restaurants. In all, he received more than $500,000 in PPP loans. Businesses can use that money for payroll, employee benefits, rent, utilities, and more. While loans like that would usually be taxed as income, Congress chose to make the loans exempt from federal income taxes. Though many states adopted Congress's exemption, at this point, Minnesota still plans on taxing the loans. That's something Vincent is concerned about.
We're struggling enough. Right now, 2021 is the year of just surviving and hopefully digging out of holes, not trying to pay back debt that was given to us to actually survive the pandemic.
If the state decides to tax the loans, Vincent's businesses stand to owe $60,000. He says he's been working with Hospitality Minnesota, an advocacy group based in the cities, to make his voice heard. Still to come, 30 years ago, Line 3 ruptured near Grand Rapids, and today folks use this anniversary to share their concerns.
23 below was today's record low temp from 2014. Nothing compared to last week when we had that cold snap, but a long way away from the high of 42 today. Warm spell's what we have now, and we'll hold on to it at least through the weekend. Will it dial down by next week? I'll show you with the 7-day forecast which way the temps will go coming up in just a little bit.
You're watching the CBS3 News at 10 with Kristen Vaki, sports with Kelly Hinson, and weather with meteorologist Dave Anderson on live local CBS3. When severe weather hits, tune to CBS3 for up-to-date coverage morning and night.
Being overweight may lead to high blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease, a weakened immune system, and can make COVID-19 even more risky. At Healthy Systems USA, get your free weight loss consultation from the comfort of your own home. Call or go to HealthySystemsUSA.com.
It's the biggest free boat show going on at Link Wreck and Minehog, with over 100 new and used boats and Mercury engines on display in our heated indoor showrooms. With $1,000 instant savings, like the Silver Mirage 820 Cruise CR, you save over $7,000. Something for everybody, something for every budget.
Even if you don't smoke, smoking-related illnesses cost you $593 every year. See how much we're all missing at missingitmn.org.
We remember your name. Hi, Cheryl.
Hello.
Because it's your name. That's simple human sense.
Ask the Holden Insurance Agency if auto owners make sense for you.
Epilepsy can affect anyone with a brain.
It does not discriminate.
If you have a brain,
you can get epilepsy.
But here's something that's just as important to know.
Anyone with a brain can affect epilepsy.
So let's use our brains to do just that.
Let's change the way people think about epilepsy.
To find cures.
Because if all of us can get epilepsy,
all of us can end epilepsy.
We just need to use our brains.
Let's use our brains.
Let's use our brains.
Let's use our brains to end epilepsy.
Every second of every day, it happens. Something big, something worth talking about. News happens, and you can't wait for it. You need to be constantly digging, asking, hunting, wanting more. More truth, more real answers. More who, what, where, when, and why. And it's about you. It's about now. It's about wherever, whenever. At Live Local CBS3, it's about the news. Your neighborhood news.
I lost a ton of weight, 93 pounds. I feel good, I look good.
75 days on the program, I've lost 53 pounds, 41.5 inches. You're not hungry.
If you've got that, don't worry about that. Healthy Systems USA.
Welcome to the Kelly Clarkson Show!
Now, the CBS3 Duluth WeatherMax forecast with meteorologist Dave Anderson.
Well, back in the day, I used to do a lot of work in scouting with Susan Meyer and her husband Tom Meyer, and even their nephew Jeremy Meyer, who used to work here as a producer about 20 years ago. Well, the family over the weekend took a trip up north North of my neck of the woods, Ely, towards Hagman Lake, to check out the ancient 9,000-year-old pictographs done by the indigenous people of that era. And you stop to think, well, the weather was pretty good for making that trip and likely will be for the next couple of days, but in 9,000 years, how many different heat waves and cold snaps and blizzards and thunderstorms have those things seen? Well, right now they're in the midst of yet another warm spell. That'll stay with us probably through the weekend, so if you're going to trek up there and check those out, you might want to stay off the ice and take an inland path to get there, because with warm weather like we're getting, it could thin out the ice rather rapidly. We'll talk about the 7-day forecast and this warm up here in just a bit. Right now we have the current conditions from Duluth International. 27 degrees, 92% for the relative humidity, and an east wind's going 11 miles per hour, along with a barometric pressure reading on the high side at 30.27 inches of mercury. So we take a look now at the current temperatures in the region, and we're in the low 20s for the Upper Peninsula. A bit warmer for Wisconsin, 25 to 30 there, 25 Ashland, 30 in Superior. For Minnesota, temperatures, we've started to slip towards the upper teens from Ely towards Orr. Lower 20s on the Mesabi range here right now. Upper 20s for the North Shore, and even as warm as 32 down towards Moose Lake. But for low temps tonight, I think many Minnesota towns away from the lake will drop into the lower teens, while the rest of us are in the upper teens into the lower, maybe even middle 20s. So really not drastically cold, especially compared to what we had about a week and a half ago. So again, warm spells with us now, and we'll stick around for a while. Doppler map right now shows the tail end of last night's little low pressure system here, still stirring up the atmosphere, cranking out a little bit of light shower activity, a couple of snow flurries, but those clouds and those showers are fading away fairly rapidly. And I think for tomorrow, one of these three big high-pressure cells is going to bring back warm conditions and a sunny sky to our picture, which will stay with us from Thursday through Monday. It's Tuesday when finally something different may happen. This low-pressure system brings us a 40 to 50% chance for a rain-snow mix both of these days, Tuesday and Wednesday. But from now until then, should be fairly dry. Tonight in Minnesota, mostly cloudy but dry with lows from 13 inland to 25 by the lake. Wisconsin and Michigan numbers run from 15 over towards Watersmeet to 22 in Superior. Mostly cloudy sky and a calm wind there. Highs tomorrow, 32 to 39, Wisconsin, Michigan, with a partly cloudy sky returning in the afternoon. Minnesotans get those sky conditions as well, with highs from 27 up the Gunflint to 38 degrees down around Renshaw. And then with the extended forecast, stays fairly sunny through Monday. Really warm on Sunday, 47 degrees, 45 Monday. And then the dry spell breaks Tuesday and Wednesday with a shot for a rain and snow mix.
Thanks, Dave. It's now been 30 years since a ruptured pipeline spilled millions of gallons of crude oil in Grand Rapids. CBS3's Emma Quinn explains how a group used that day in history to once again send a message to Enbridge as its major pipeline reconstruction project continues.
Wednesday marks the anniversary of the nation's largest inland oil spill, which occurred here in Grand Rapids in March 1991.
To help raise awareness of 30 years ago when this pipeline broke over here, which leaked out 1.7 million gallons of oil.
The pipeline that ruptured that day was what is now known as Enbridge's Line 3. Back then, Enbridge was called Lakehead Pipeline in the U.S. It took Enbridge years and millions of dollars to clean up from the spill. Today, Enbridge is in the midst of reconstructing that very same line after years of the project being under regulatory review. But about 50 people who gathered at Wednesday's Memory March near the site of the oil spill are opposed to that project and worried history could repeat itself.
Treaty rights are not being honored and respected, and because of a tar sand that is not in any way helping our people or this country.
Water is life! Since Enbridge got the green light for the reconstruction project in December, opponents have been making their voices heard near construction sites, some coming all the way from Massachusetts, Delaware, and California.
It's affecting a lot of the indigenous communities, and I can't go up to Canada, so COVID, so this would be my way to be able to come out and try and put these tar sand programs in the ground.
Local Line 3 opponents say the outreach of support is appreciated and shows they aren't alone in their fight.
It means that they too want to have clean water also.
Enbridge officials were not available for an interview today, but they did share a statement with us. They said technology and operations have changed drastically since 1991, and safety has always been the company's top priority. They added the replacement project will include thicker steel with more advanced coatings. To read the full statement, you can head on over to our website. Still to come, President Biden has stated that he will continue the Cancer Moonshot Initiative. But what will it look like and how will it be carried out? We have the details next.
CBS3 live cams are brought to you by Kohler Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac. You're not just getting a car, you're getting Kohler.
At Mediacom, we know the future is ours to create. That's why we built an incredibly advanced fiber-powered network. So today, when lives are being challenged more than ever, we're working harder than ever to help families move forward, businesses restart, and our communities get back on their feet. Mediacom is up for this challenge. Our network is ready, our people are powerful, and we won't back down.
Funerals can be emotionally devastating for a family to go through. Besides the sorrow, loved ones are left with the high cost of arranging a funeral. Funeral Advantage was formed to help protect your family when they need it most. It pays your loved ones up to $20,000 immediately for funeral and any other expenses.
It's a good feeling to know that my family will be taken care of if anything happens to me.
Funerals can easily cost $9,000 or more, but government benefits pay only $255, leaving your loved ones to pay the rest.
It's so easy. Just answer a few simple health questions. This is so affordable, even for someone like me who's on a fixed income.
If you're 40 to 85, get information on how to protect your family. Funeral Advantage is something we all need. There's no risk or obligation. Call now.
Get the facts about how easy it is to protect your family. There's no risk or obligation. Don't wait. Call the number on your screen now.
When facing a major healthcare decision, it's wise to seek a second opinion from a team of established experts. Financial decisions deserve the same level of care and expertise. At MPPL Financial, we develop your plan by assembling a personalized team that includes experts in multiple disciplines. So the result is a coordinated care plan that covers all areas of your financial life. Your outcome depends on the quality of care you receive. Call today to set up your free second opinion consultation or visit mpplfinancial.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Little with Bath Planet. It's time to welcome the new year with the bath of your dreams. With our Say Goodbye to 2020 sale, we're offering 20% off labor, 20% off material, and no interest, no payment, and zero down until 2022. All of our products are backed with the Good Housekeeping seal of approval and a lifetime warranty. For a free estimate, call us today or visit us online at bathplanet.com. Bath Planet, out of this world service, down to earth price.
Join us weeknights. We're live at 5 as we go around the Northland, city by city.
There is nothing that we want more than students learning together safely.
And we only get to do that if we can all get through this together with everybody safe and healthy.
We can do this.
We can do this.
Local news and local weather here on CBS3.
President Biden met with a bipartisan group of lawmakers to talk about what's ahead for Cancer Moonshot. This federal initiative began under President Obama, and President Biden vowed to devote the rest of his life to bringing about an end to cancer. CBS's Skylar Henry is at the White House with more.
President Biden invited a group of bipartisan lawmakers to the Oval Office to talk about curing cancer.
Because I think we're on the cusp of some real breakthroughs across the board on cancer.
The issue is likely to become a focus of the president's post-pandemic health agenda. The American Cancer Society estimates there will be 1.9 million new cancer cases diagnosed in the U.S. this year, and more than 608,000 cancer deaths.
Cancer's personal for almost everybody.
It's a cause close to the president's heart. The Bidens lost their 46-year-old son, Beau, to brain cancer in 2015. President Biden spearheaded the Cancer Moonshot federal initiative as vice president during the Obama administration.
I'm going to devote the rest of my life to working on this. What I said once before, that I'd love to be the president to preside over the end of cancer as we know it.
The president and members of Congress are looking for ways to build on the work they've been doing and help end cancer. Coming up in sports, UWS has one last series left in their regular season. Kelly is in with the highlights coming up. Join us weeknights. We're live at 5 as we go around the Northland, city by city.
Please join us in our efforts to protect people with disabilities and those Minnesotans most vulnerable to COVID-19.
Access North has partnered with the Minnesota Department of Health to be a COVID community coordinator.
Thank you, Access North, for being an advocate and a resource for people with disabilities.
Contact Access North Center for Independent Living, your local COVID community coordinator resource for people with disabilities.
Let's all work together and we can beat this virus and save lives.
Be a little bit brave. Don't ever be afraid to.
Got a couple questions.
Do you think it's time for schools to reopen? There is some positive breaking news. We've got a lot of important new information for you and your family.
One of the reasons that I love our focus here at CBS3, which is live and local, is because that's me. I'm from here. This is my home. When people reach out with a story idea or a concern about something going on in their neighborhood that they would like to know more about, and they're looking to us for answers, that means a lot to me. It's just incredibly important that we show up for the folks in our region and make sure that they are in the know as much as we are.
I don't think any other year is ever going to be like 2020. I never thought that I would go through something like this ever in my life. This pandemic's not a isolated thing to our country or to our state or to our city. This is something that's affecting the world. And that just shows really how interconnected we all are. And I think that's why news is so important, because news is kind of like that lifeline to kind of bring that information out and bring us all together.
Watch Jenna and Caitlin in the morning at 5 and 6 a.m.
Epilepsy can affect anyone with a brain. It does not discriminate.
If you have a brain,
you can get epilepsy.
But here's something that's just as important to know.
Anyone with a brain can affect epilepsy.
So let's use our brains to do just that.
Let's change the way people think about epilepsy.
To find cures.
Because if all of us can get epilepsy,
all of us can end epilepsy.
We just need to use our brains.
Let's use our brains.
Let's use our brains.
Let's use our brains to end epilepsy.
Skilled trade workers are the backbone of every community, and also the Army National Guard. Soldiers get paid training to keep the power flowing, engines running, and supplies moving. Army National Guard soldiers are learning skills that can set them up for success with companies looking to hire the best.
The Army National Guard basically built my resume for me.
Find out how you can learn a trade and serve part-time for your community and country by visiting nationalguard.com.
Now, CBS3 Sports with Kelly Hinson.
With one last series left in their regular season, the UW men's Superior team has a chance to make one last leapfrog into the standings by playing the very team that sits above them. That's UW Stout. Game one of their home and home series was tonight. We start 6 minutes in. They broke through. Troy York snipes one from the circle to snap an 11-game drought for him dating back to last season. Stout would equalize, but not for long. On the power play, Jordan Martin snaps a 21-game drought for himself. 2-1. Depth. 6 minutes into the second, Stout responded again. Evan Butcher knots things up at 2. But before the second was over, UWS took over. Arthur Tekyev walks one in from the point and gives the Jackets a lead they wouldn't give up with just 12 seconds left in the frame. Cloquet's Dylan Johnson makes it a 2-goal lead. UWS wins it 6-3 and a jump. They jump a spot to 4th place in the WIAC. Fresh off their best finish in the WCHA in a decade, the UMD women's hockey team was well represented this afternoon as 4 players claimed WCHA first or second team honors. CBS 3's Brian Campo has more on how the strong back end has led to their success.
Defense wins championships, and the UMD women's hockey team has another shot at a championship this weekend in the WCHA Frozen Face-Off, thanks to their stellar defensive play.
Every pair, every player that steps on the ice knows what's expected of them. The game plan is well laid out. They understand expectations and how we want to play, what we want to look like.
And two players on the back end were named to the WCHA first team on Wednesday, Ashton Bell and Emma Soderberg.
She's been playing awesome, and our game on Saturday was insane, and we are very lucky to have her back there with us. And she's always like talking to us and communicating with us, which is very helpful for us.
But you can't win games without putting the puck in the net, as forwards Gabby Hughes and Anna Klein were named to the WCHA second team Wednesday.
Gabby and Klein are on the second team. They're surrounded by great names, great players, and they've earned that respect. So it's awesome to see, and hopefully it gives them a little boost of confidence as we head into some really important games ahead.
Some really important games ahead, with hopes to get back to the NCAA tournament.
The Bulldogs clash with the Buckeyes Saturday evening at the WCHA final face-off, not the Frozen face-off. Apologies for that mistake in the pack. Well, one weekend game sits between the UMD men's team and the NCHC playoffs, and a lot is still on the line. The team wraps up their home and homestand against St. Cloud State, who they beat 5-1 down on last Saturday. An outright win for the Bulldogs over St. Cloud will earn them a second-place finish in the conference behind North Dakota, and ultimately they are looking toward the NCHC playoffs, which look entirely different to years past. There will be no home ice advantage, as all teams will take part in a one-and-done tournament at the Ralph in North Dakota.
We still have the opportunity to get the highest seed possible, and that's a 2 seed for us. So I think the biggest thing is kind of starting this weekend, winning a hockey game, putting us in the best position going into the NCHC playoffs. And from there, I think the major goal is kind of to win that tournament. We know that we can play with the best teams, and I think our conference has shown that year in and year out, we have the best teams in the country. So it's going to take everybody, but I think that we have the team to do it, and I think everyone believes in that.
It's the fight for the second seed in the NCHC tournament this weekend at Herb Brooks Arena in St. Cloud. Puck drop between the Bulldogs and the Huskies is at 1:00 p.m. That's going to do it for sports tonight. We'll be right back after the break.
CBS3 closed captioning is brought to you by Essentia Health. March is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. Ask your doctor about screening options.
Hi, folks. Joe Namath here, and if you're on Medicare, this is important. You're now entitled to eliminate copays and get dental care, dentures, eyeglasses, prescription coverage, in-home aids, unlimited transportation, and home-delivered meals, all at no additional cost. Plus, your zip code may have coverage with the Give Back benefit that adds money back to your Social Security check every month. Look, with the uncertainty of the virus and vaccines, you need to get everything you're entitled to. Here's the bottom line. Call to get significant benefits at no additional cost and see if your zip code has coverage with the Give Back benefit. Millions of people have trusted the Medicare Coverage Helpline. You can too. Call now. It's free.
Call 1-800-916-5591. That's 1-800-916-5591 now.
New DQ rotisserie style chicken bites. I love you just the way you are. I never thought unbreaded chicken this good was possible. Your oven roasted 100% white meat chicken is 100% perfect to me. Finally, chicken that is tender, juicy, and flavorful all by itself. Or dipped in ranch. Or on a salad. Or in a basket with fries. Thank you, DQ, for giving me just what I needed. DQ. Happy tastes good.
Welcome to the Kelly Clarkson Show!
I can't even hug her? I'm touching people. I'm touching you. I'm touching you.
This show is about connection. And not even 2020 and socially distancing ourselves, they're going to get in the way of that.
Are we 6 feet apart?
Let's just check it out.
The major key is to make sure they watch the Kelly Clarkson Show.
Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. You saved me. Dad?
you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Men's wardrobe provided by Mainstream Fashions for Men, celebrating 30 years in business in 2021 with 30% off store-wide. Downtown Duluth.
Welcome back. Here's a live look at the lift bridge. Staff at the bridge are giving back to people in need. Workers at the area lift bridge donated money to Second Harvest Food Bank. The funds will cover nearly 1,200 meals. Way to go. That's awesome. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.